What's up, guys? I can't believe we're finally making the best pizza ever. I'm so excited to show you how to create pizza perfection at home. I promise, after this video, you'll never look at pizza the same way again. We're gonna get into every step, from the dough to the toppings, and I'm gonna share all my secret tips and tricks. So let's get started and make some absolutely incredible pizza that'll blow your mind. Alright guys, let's kick things off with the foundation of any great pizza, the dough. Now, you've got two options here. Make your own or use store-bought. But let me tell you, homemade dough is where it's at. It's so good, you won't believe it. Here's my go-to recipe. You'll need flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's it. Mix it all together and let it do its thing. The key is letting it rise for at least an hour, but if you want that next-level flavor, let it hang out in the fridge overnight. Trust me, it's worth the wait. Now, if you're using store-bought dough, no judgment here. Just make sure you let it come to room temperature before you start working with it. Oh, and here's a pro tip. If your dough is being stubborn and not stretching, let it relax for a few minutes. It'll make your life so much easier. And if it's sticky, just dust your hands with a bit of flour or oil. Easy peasy. Okay, now let's talk sauce. You guys, a simple raw tomato sauce can make all the difference. It's so easy, you'll wonder why you ever bought the jarred stuff. Here's what you do. Grab some canned tomatoes, a pinch of salt, a drizzle of olive oil, and a few fresh basil leaves. Blend it all up and boom, you've got yourself the perfect pizza sauce. And here's the kicker. You don't even need to cook it. The high heat of the oven will do all the work for you. It's like magic, I swear. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, you can experiment with different flavors. Maybe add some garlic or a splash of balsamic vinegar. The possibilities are endless. Just remember, when it comes to sauce, less is more. You don't want to drown your pizza in sauce, trust me on this one. Alright guys, now we're getting to the fun part, toppings. This is where you can really let your creativity shine. But before we go crazy, let's talk about some classic options. You can never go wrong with fresh mozzarella, some crispy pepperoni, and a sprinkle of fresh basil. It's a classic for a reason, you know? But if you're feeling adventurous, why not try something different? One of my favorite combos is peach and basil. I know, it sounds weird, but it's so good. Or how about a roasted red pepper pesto instead of traditional sauce? Mind-blowing, I'm telling you. But listen up, and this is important. Don't go overboard with the toppings. I know it's tempting to pile everything on, but trust me, less is more. Too many toppings can make your pizza soggy, and nobody wants that. So choose wisely and use a light hand. Your taste buds will thank you. First things first, you want to crank that baby up as high as it'll go. We're talking 500 degrees Fahrenheit minimum. And here's a game changer for you. Use a pizza stone or steel. It'll give you that crispy, restaurant quality crust that'll make you weak in the knees. But here's the catch. You gotta preheat it. Pop that stone or steel in the oven while it's heating up. Give it at least 30 minutes, but an hour is even better. Oh, and here's a little trick I learned. Use parchment paper to transfer your pizza onto the hot stone. It'll slide right off, no sticking, no mess. And once your pizza's in there, keep an eye on it. We're looking at about 10, 12 minutes, or until that crust is golden and the cheese is all bubbly and delicious. Just thinking about it is making me hungry. First things first, make sure your dough is at room temperature. Cold dough is stubborn dough, and we don't want that. Now, start by pressing the dough out with your fingertips. Now, here's where it gets tricky. You're gonna pick up the dough and let gravity do its thing. Drape it over your knuckles and gently stretch it out. And I mean, gently. We're not trying to tear holes in it. If you're feeling brave, you can even try tossing it in the air. But, maybe practice with a kitchen towel first. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfectly round. Those imperfections, that's what makes it homemade, baby. It's all about that rustic charm. Start with your stretched out dough on a pizza peel or the back of a baking sheet. Now let's sauce it up. Remember what I said earlier, less is more. Next up, cheese. I like to use a mix of low moisture mozzarella for that classic stretch and fresh mozzarella for those creamy pockets of goodness. Then it's topping time. Spread them out evenly, but don't go overboard. We want each bite to be balanced. Oh, and here's a pro tip. If you're using fresh herbs like basil, wait until after the pizza's cooked to add them. And don't forget a drizzle of good olive oil right at the end. It'll give your pizza that extra oomph of flavor. Trust me, it makes all the difference. Alright guys, this is the moment of truth. Baking time. Your oven should be screaming hot by now, with that pizza stone or steel ready to go. Now keep a close eye on that baby. We're looking at about 10-12 minutes, but every oven is different. You want that crust to be golden brown and the cheese to be all melty and bubbly. And here's a little secret. If you want that cheese to get those beautiful brown spots, switch your oven to broil for the last minute or two. But watch it like a hawk. Once it's done, slide that beauty out and let it rest for a minute or two. I know it's hard to wait, but it'll be worth it, I promise. Okay, folks, we're in the home stretch now. Your pizza is baked to perfection, and it's time to cut and serve. Now, when it comes to cutting, you've got options. You can go for the classic triangle slices, or get fancy with squares. Personally, I'm a triangle guy. Now here's a pro tip. Use a pizza wheel for clean cuts. If you don't have one, a large chef's knife will do the trick. Once it's all sliced up, it's time to dig in. But be careful, that first bite is always the hottest. Trust me, I've burned the roof of my mouth more times than I care to admit. But man, is it worth it. Alright guys, we've covered all the basics, but let's talk about some killer flavor combinations. First up, the classic margarita. Simple, but oh so good. How about a white pizza with ricotta, garlic, and spinach? Or go full-on umami with mushrooms, truffle oil, and a sprinkle of parmesan. For you meat lovers out there, try a combo of sausage, pepperoni, and beef bacon. It's a heart attack waiting to happen, but man, is it delicious. And don't be afraid to get weird with it. Pear and gorgonzola? Absolutely. Fig and prosciutto? You bet. Potato and rosemary? Trust me, it works. The key is to balance your flavors. You want a mix of salty, sweet, and savory. And remember, sometimes the simplest combinations are the best. At the end of the day, it's all about what you like. And there you have it, folks. You're now armed with all the knowledge you need to make the best pizza ever. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't get discouraged if your first attempt isn't Instagram-worthy. The beauty of homemade pizza is that even when it's not perfect, it's still pretty darn delicious. So get out there, fire up that oven, and start your pizza journey. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more delicious content. Until next time, happy pizza making!